If you only hear one thing today, let it be this. You're exactly where you need to be. Not too slow, not too fast, right on time. Life has its own rhythm. Those things keeping you up at night, those worries about being behind, those fears about missing out, let them go. Some things are beyond your control. Good things are coming your way. Not because you forced them, not because you chased them, but because you kept moving forward even when the path felt unclear. The best changes often come quietly. They slip in when you're not looking. One day you'll look back and realize how far you've come, how much has shifted, how everything fell into place. Trust your journey, trust your timing, trust that doors will open when they're meant to. You don't need to push so hard, you don't need to rush, you don't need to doubt yourself. Keep walking your path, keep believing, keep going. Everything is unfolding exactly as it should. And don't mistake the stillness for stagnation. Sometimes the universe pauses to align the stars in ways you can't yet comprehend. You may feel like you're stuck in place, but in truth, you're marinating in potential. Think of it like planting a seed. You don't stand over it screaming, "Grow already." No, you water it, give it sunlight, and trust that roots are spreading where you can't see. Growth happens in the quiet, in the unseen. Trust the dirt you're planted in. Trust the process. You are not behind. You are not off course. And you certainly are not out of time. You're not on anyone else's clock because your journey isn't theirs to measure. So what if someone else seems to be sprinting ahead while you're still lacing up your shoes? Good. Let them run. They have their race and you have yours. What's the rush anyway? This isn't a contest, it's your life. And let's be real, who says the fastest path is the best one? Sometimes the scenic route gives you the best stories. The detours show you hidden treasures you'd never have found if you stuck to the highway. And don't get me started on the pit stops. Those moments of rest, the unexpected conversations, the quiet epiphanies, they're not distractions. They're necessary. They're the seasoning that turns a bland journey into an unforgettable adventure. Let me remind you of something. Even chaos has its choreography. Ever watched a storm brew over the ocean? The waves rise and crash in what looks like madness, but beneath it all, the currents flow with purpose. That's your life right now. What feels like chaos is just the storm before the calm. The movement before the miracle. You are in the thick of it, but you're also exactly where you're meant to be. And when you doubt that, because you will, because you're human, remember this. Doubt is just fear in a fancy suit. It tries to look important, tries to sound convincing, but it's all smoke and mirrors. You're stronger than your doubt. You've already survived 100% of your hardest days. Don't let a little uncertainty scare you off your own greatness. You are building something extraordinary, even if it feels like you're just stacking bricks right now. Let me hit you with some truth. It's not about how fast you get there. It's about who you become along the way. Every stumble sharpens your balance. Every delay deepens your patience. Every challenge chisels away the parts of you that no longer serve your growth. You are becoming, you are evolving, you are a masterpiece in progress. And masterpieces aren't painted in a day. They're layered, stroke by stroke, color by color, mistake by mistake. And sometimes those mistakes, they're not mistakes at all. They're brushstrokes in disguise. Bold, messy streaks that seem out of place at first, but end up adding depth and texture. You don't see it right away, but one day, when you step back and look at the whole picture, you'll realize those wrong turns were exactly what made it beautiful. You see, the universe isn't sitting in the corner grading you on neatness. It's not judging how perfectly you follow some invisible script. No, it's far more interested in how you adapt when the pen runs out of ink or when the paper gets crumpled. It's watching how you rewrite the story when the plot twists. And trust me, those twists are where the magic happens. Nobody remembers the perfectly smooth road. It's the unexpected detours and potholes that make for the best tales. Let me ask you this. When did slow become a dirty word? When did we start equating hustle with worth? Somewhere along the way, we got so obsessed with speeding up that we forgot how to appreciate the beauty of a slow burn. Think about the richest, most delicious food you've ever eaten. Was it thrown together in 2 minutes, or did it simmer for hours, soaking up flavor, becoming something that couldn't be rushed? That's you. You're in the slow simmer phase of your greatness. Don't try to microwave it. And for the love of all things holy, stop comparing yourself to others. Seriously, stop it. Comparison is the thief of joy, and yet here we are, handing it the keys and inviting it to rob us blind. You're scrolling through highlight reels and forgetting that everyone's life has bloopers. Even the people who seem to have it all figured out are secretly winging it half the time. Nobody has the cheat code. Everyone's just playing the game, leveling up as they go, figuring it out along the way. Here's a little secret. The people you admire most, they didn't get there by sprinting. They didn't get there by perfectly following a timeline. They got there because they were stubborn enough to keep going, even when it didn't make sense, even when the odds were stacked against them. They showed up day after day and did the work. That's the magic formula, my friend. Consistency over perfection, progress over speed, grit over glamour. And let's talk about those closed doors you keep staring at. Stop mourning them, stop banging on them. If a door closed, it wasn't your door. Simple as that. Maybe it looked shiny and appealing, but if it's shut in your face, it wasn't meant for you. There's another door waiting, a better one, a bigger one, but you're too busy staring at the one that closed to notice it. Turn around. Look for the open door, and if you don't see one, build your own. Kick down a wall if you have to. You are far too powerful to be stopped by something as small as a door. Let me remind you of something. Your worth is not tied to how much you achieve, how much you earn, or how much applause you get. Your worth is intrinsic. You are enough right now as you are, messy and unfinished. You don't need to prove yourself to anyone, not to your boss, not to your friends, not to your parents, not to that little voice in your head that keeps telling you you're not doing enough. Tell that voice to take a seat. You're doing just fine. You want proof? Look back at your life. Think about all the times you thought you wouldn't make it, all the times you were convinced you were failing, and yet here you are. You're still standing, you're still breathing, you're still trying. That's resilience, that's strength, and that's enough. Give yourself some credit for how far you've come, even if the road hasn't looked the way you thought it would. You're not supposed to have it all figured out right now. You're not supposed to be perfect. You're supposed to be learning, growing, falling and getting back up. This is the messy middle, and it's where the real transformation happens. Butterflies don't emerge from the cocoon fully formed. They struggle, they fight, and that fight is what strengthens their wings. Without it, they wouldn't be able to fly. So, if you're struggling right now, know this: you're building your wings. And let me tell you something about time. It's not running out. You have more of it than you think. Sure, the clock is ticking, but it's not a bomb. It's a compass, pointing you toward what matters most. Don't waste your time chasing things that don't light you up. Don't waste it worrying about what other people think or trying to live up to expectations that aren't even yours. Spend it on what sets your soul on fire. Spend it building a life that feels like yours. You're not behind. You're exactly where you need to be. And if you're tired, rest, but don't quit. Even the strongest people need a break sometimes. Rest is not weakness, it's fuel. It's how you recharge, how you gather the strength to keep going. So take that nap, take that day off, take a deep breath, and then get back to it. Because here's the thing, you've got what it takes. You've always had it. You just need to believe it. You need to trust yourself, even when it feels like the ground is shaking beneath you. Because the ground isn't breaking, it's shifting, making space for something new, something better. So keep going, keep believing, keep fighting for the life you deserve. And when it gets hard, because it will, remember this: you've already made it through every hard thing that's come your way. You're stronger than you think, you're braver than you feel, and you're closer than you realize. So close, in fact, that you might not even see it. Sometimes we get so focused on the destination, so fixated on the finish line, that we forget to notice the progress we've already made. You've been climbing step by step, often without realizing just how steep the path has been. Look back for a moment, not to dwell on the past, but to marvel at how far you've come. Those mountains you thought would crush you. You scaled them. Those storms you thought would drown you. You weathered them. You've been winning battles you didn't even know you were fighting. But here's the kicker: the best is still ahead of you. I know that sounds like a cliche, the kind of thing you might see plastered on a coffee mug, but that doesn't make it any less true. The reason the best is still ahead is that you're still becoming. You're not done yet, not even close. Every day you wake up, you're adding to the masterpiece that is your life. Every small decision, every quiet moment of courage, every step forward, it's all part of the bigger picture. And the beauty of it, you don't have to see the whole thing to trust that it's good. You just have to keep going. Let's talk about those moments when you don't feel like going, when the weight of it all feels too much, when the finish line feels impossibly far. Those moments are the proving grounds. They're where you build the grit that will carry you through. Anyone can keep going when things are easy, but it's in the struggle where real growth happens. Think of yourself as a diamond under pressure, or steel being forged in fire. The heat, the weight. It's uncomfortable, yes, but it's also shaping you into something unbreakable. And let me be clear, rest doesn't mean you failed. Taking a break doesn't mean you're giving up. It means you're human. Even the fiercest warriors need to lay down their swords for a moment, catch their breath, and heal. Rest isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. So if you're tired, rest. If you're overwhelmed, pause. But don't you dare quit. Quitting isn't in your DNA. You've come too far, fought too hard, and sacrificed too much to throw in the towel now. You know what else is in your DNA? Resilience. It's hardwired into you. It's the reason you're still here, despite everything life has thrown at you. You're not fragile, you're not weak. You are a survivor, a fighter, a force to be reckoned with. And here's the beautiful thing about resilience. It's like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. So every time you face a setback, every time you get knocked down and get back up, you're building that muscle. You're becoming even more unstoppable. Speaking of setbacks, let's reframe those for a minute. What if they're not setbacks at all? What if they're setups for something better? I know. It's hard to see it in the moment. When things go wrong, when the plan falls apart, it's easy to spiral into frustration or despair. But what if the plan falling apart is the best thing that could happen to you? What if the delay, the detour, the disappointment is actually redirecting you to something greater? You may not see it now, but hindsight has a funny way of revealing the brilliance of life's plot twists. And let's not forget about the people in your corner. You're not in this alone. Sure, you're the one walking the path, but every great journey has its supporting cast. Lean on them. Let them remind you of your strength when you forget it. Let them be your mirror when you can't see your own worth. And don't be afraid to ask for help. Asking for help isn't weakness, it's wisdom. It's knowing that you don't have to do it all by yourself. Now, about those dreams of yours, the big, audacious ones that scare and excite you in equal measure. Don't shrink them to fit someone else's comfort zone. Don't dull them to make others feel less intimidated. Those dreams were given to you for a reason. They are yours to chase, yours to nurture, yours to bring to life. Yes, it's going to take work. Yes, it's going to take time. And yes, there will be moments when you doubt whether it's even possible. But here's the thing, if the dream is in you, it's meant for you. Don't let fear talk you out of what you're meant to do. Fear will try though. Oh, it will try. It will whisper every reason why you should stay small, stay safe, stay comfortable. It will tell you you're not ready, not talented enough, not smart enough, not anything enough. Fear is a liar. The only way to shut it up is to act. Move forward anyway. Take the leap even if your legs are shaking. Because fear loses its power when you confront it. And the more you face it, the less it will hold you back. And when you do take that leap, remember this. The world doesn't need a perfect version of you. It needs the real one. The messy, flawed, work in progress you. The you who tries and fails and tries again. The you who laughs too loud, loves too hard, and dreams too big. The world doesn't need you to fit into a mold. It needs you to break it. It needs you to shatter every expectation, rewrite every outdated script, and unapologetically take up space. It needs your fire, your boldness, your one-of-a-kind spark. Because let's be real, how many game changers, trailblazers, and legends got there by playing small? None. Not one. They didn't tiptoe around life, afraid of stepping on toes. They stomped, they roared, they walked in like they owned the place. That's the kind of energy you were born for. Not to conform, but to create. And while we're on the topic of breaking molds, let's address this idea of perfect timing. You've probably been waiting for it, haven't you? Waiting for the stars to align, the fear to disappear, or some magical neon sign to drop from the heavens saying, "Now is the time." Newsflash, perfect timing is a myth. There is no right moment. There is only this moment, right here, right now. This is when you start, not when you feel ready, because you never fully will. Not when the plan is foolproof, because it never will be. But when you decide to take the first step, messy and uncertain as it might be. You might stumble, you might trip over your own feet. But stumbles aren't failures, they're proof that you're moving. And momentum, even if it feels clumsy, is 1,000 times better than standing still. You don't need to have it all figured out. The truth is, nobody does. Even the people who seem to have their lives perfectly curated are just winging it on some level. You don't need perfection to make progress, you just need persistence. Think about this. Every single great thing in history started as chaos, a blank canvas before the masterpiece, a rough draft before the novel, a scribbled napkin sketch before the billion-dollar idea. Chaos is fertile ground for creation, and if your life feels chaotic right now, congratulations, you're in the perfect position to build something incredible. Now let's talk about your inner critic, that little voice in your head that's always the first to point out your flaws and doubts. It loves to remind you of every mistake you've made, every shortcoming you think you have, every reason you should just play it safe. But let me tell you something about that voice. It's loudest when you're on the brink of something amazing. It's like an overprotective guard dog that's barking because it senses the unknown ahead. Instead of trying to silence it, thank it for its concern, and then walk past it anyway. The critic doesn't get to drive the car. You do. And while you're at it, let go of the need for constant validation. You don't need applause to know you're doing something worthwhile. You don't need permission to chase your dreams. Validation is nice, sure, but it's not fuel. It's dessert, sweet, fleeting, and unnecessary. The real fuel comes from within. It comes from knowing that what you're doing matters, even if nobody else sees it yet. It comes from believing in yourself so fiercely that other people can't help but believe in you too. Here's a truth that might sting a little. Not everyone is going to get it. Not everyone will cheer for you. Some people might even root against you. That's fine. They're not your people. The ones who matter will see your light, even when it's just a flicker. They'll cheer for you, not because you're perfect, but because they believe in what you're capable of. And the ones who don't, well, they're just background noise. Turn down the volume and keep moving forward. And speaking of moving forward, let's not forget that progress doesn't always look like a straight line. Sometimes it's messy. Sometimes it feels like one step forward, 2 steps back. But progress is progress, no matter how slow or uneven. Growth is never linear, it's a spiral. You'll revisit old challenges, old fears, and old patterns, but every time you do, you'll face them with a little more wisdom, a little more strength, and a lot more courage. Don't let the idea of starting over scare you either. Starting over isn't failure, it's a fresh page, a second chance, an opportunity to do it differently. Think of it like a great book. You wouldn't stop reading just because the chapter ended, would you? Of course not. You turn the page, eager to see what happens next. Life is the same way. Chapters end, new ones begin. The story keeps going, and so do you. And let me tell you this, the version of you that's coming is going to blow your mind. You can't see it yet, but you're on your way to becoming someone who will make you so proud. Someone who's weathered storms, conquered doubts, and built a life that feels true. A life that's not about ticking off boxes or meeting arbitrary milestones, but about waking up every day and saying, this is who I am, and this is what I stand for. Because at the end of the day, that's what matters most. Who you are, not what you've accomplished. You won't be remembered for how many things you crossed off your to-do list. You'll be remembered for how you made people feel, for how deeply you lived, for the impact you left behind. So live boldly, love fiercely, dream unapologetically. Be the kind of person who leaves people better than you found them. And don't wait for life to hand you permission to do all of this. Give it to yourself. Decide right now, in this very moment, that you're worthy of the dreams you carry. Decide that you're not here to simply exist, but to thrive. Decide that no matter how many times you fall, you'll keep getting back up. Because you will fall, you will fail, you will mess up in spectacular fashion, but you'll also rise, you'll learn, you'll grow, and every time you do, you'll prove to yourself just how unstoppable you really are. So here's what you do. Take a deep breath, square your shoulders, and take that next step, no matter how small it seems. The road ahead may be long, but every step you take brings you closer to the life you're meant to live. Keep going, keep believing, keep building the masterpiece that is your life. Because you, my friend, are capable of greatness, and the world is waiting to see it.